Shane Van Gisbergen completes his first ever Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway and finishes in 26th position. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to the video. As I just said a second ago, Shane Van Gisbergen has completed his first ever Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway and finishes in a decent 26th position. At the start of the race, Shane Van Gisbergen qualified, I believe, in 34th or 35th. He didn't get to move up position early because Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who was the only one that really had to go to the rear of the field, he was already at the back of the field because he had some damage. So at the start of the race, there was a big wreck that happened between Martin Truex Jr. and Ryan Blaney on the first lap of the race. They both ended up crashing into the outside wall, and their day would come to an end early. This gave Shane an opportunity to move up a couple positions, and I believe Shane actually came down pit road during the first pit stops. As the run progressed and went on, Shane was struggling a little bit early, but he actually started making up a couple positions. He got up to around 31st or 32nd as the early run went on, and actually early in the green flag pit stops, Shane was actually able to lead 4 or 5 laps. I believe he's maybe the first driver who's led in 6 of his 7 or 8 cup starts that he's ran, so he led a few laps tonight, which is pretty good. He almost has now led 20 career NASCAR Cup Series laps, and he was able to lead in the Southern 500, playing a little bit of strategy. But it would backfire a little bit. He did get up front for a little bit because of that strategy, but he started fading back a bit and fell back as far as around 30th or 31st, actually about 32nd or 33rd position, and did eventually, as the night went on, he did fall a couple of laps down. But attrition really started coming in play just a little bit. Timmy Hill went out of the race. That was a position for him to make up. Other drivers like Justin Haley were having problems in front of him. You had other guys like Kaz Gralla who were in trouble. You had a lot of guys in the back of the field that were starting to have issues in front of him. This would give Shane the chance and opportunity to move up a few spots. By the halfway point of this year's Southern 500, SVG was up to around 29th or 28th position, so he's inside the top 30 at this particular point. But then, near the end of the race, as the run progressed and went on, Shane was actually as far up as 24th or 25th, but the caution would come out about 55 laps to go, with Carson Osebar crashing into turn number 4, spinning out, and this would set up a lot of chaos at the end of this race. First, there was a crash between Todd Gillen and Chris Buescher down the back straightaway. Todd Gillen would go multiple laps down from the damage, if I remember correctly, and Chris Buescher, I thought, was probably going to get a penalty for that. He didn't receive a penalty for the incident on the track. Shane did not get any positions up. And then, near the end of the race, with a few laps to go in the Southern 500, Shane Van Gisbergen was up inside the basically the top 30. And then with about 25 laps to go, the big one was strike. Josh Berry ended up wrecking. Bubba Wallace, who was fighting for a playoff spot. I think Daniel Suarez got collected in that. Noah Gragson got collected. Ty Gibbs got collected. Denny Hamlin got a little bit of damage in the wreck as well. And a couple of those guys like William Byron also fell out of the race because of the wreck. This moved SVG pretty much up inside the top 30, but unfortunately Shane was 3 laps down. He wasn't going to be able to get a chance and opportunity to gain a ton of positions. They get back to the final restarts of the race. There was a fantastic and great battle up front between Chase Briscoe, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, and Kyle Larson at the end. You had Kyle Busch, who was on fresher tires, that was running Chase Briscoe down at the end of the race. And meanwhile, you had Shane Van Gisbergen, who was running around 27th or 26th. We had a really great battle at the end. Kyle Busch tried everything to get by Chase Briscoe to win his second other Southern 500. He couldn't get it done, and Chase Briscoe would come off the corner and win the 2024 Southern 500. And Shane Van Gisbergen would come out the final corner in his first other Southern 500 and finish in 26th place, 3 laps down. Honestly, considering the fact that this is his first next-gen race at Darlington with the Southern 500, with a team like College Racing that's generally struggled, I think Trackhouse did prepare this car, and having a little bit of inexperience at this track, he did have a fantastic run yesterday, which we'll get to in just a second, but finishing 26th, finishing on the racetrack, completing a ton of laps, that's the ultimate goal for Shane Van Gisbergen through the rest of this year, because he needs to gain as much experience as possible going into next year. Remember, Shane is going to be moving up to the NASCAR Cup Series full-time in 2025, driving the number 88 car for Trackhouse Racing. And for him to have the chance and opportunity to be competitive by the end of next year, especially on the ovals, he needs to run a lot better. Now, yesterday was a really big step in the right direction for Shane. Shane had one of his best oval drives I've ever seen him put up. He finished in 7th place inside the top 10, and legit probably could have gotten the top 5 near the end of the race had AJ Allmendinger not hit the outside wall. Tonight he struggled. The car just wasn't that great for him, but at least to finish on the track inside the top 30, that is not bad, all things considered. And next time we do come back to Darlington, which will be in May next year, he needs to be able to perform at the highest level that he can. And I think Shane will get better the next time he comes around, considering it is going to be a full-on Trackhouse racing car next year. I think Shane is going to have a much better run the next time we come here. Again, he did an okay job for someone who's never really ran at this track a lot. I think the experience of running Xfinity definitely helped a little bit for sure. He was making some big moves, was being aggressive, battling guys like John Nemechek, and gotten him a little bit. I feel like the next time he comes around, the goal is ultimately stay on the lead lap by the end of the race and try to finish inside the top 20 the next time we come here in the spring of 2025. And ultimately, Shane has a lot of double duty races coming up in the future. He's, of course, going to be running at Atlanta Motor Speedway doing double duty. He'll run the 16 car for Colin, I believe, Acceptance Insurance as a sponsor. And he's also going to be running the Xfinity Series race. Remember, he finished in third position. Yes, fuel mileage came into play, but he nearly won in his second Xfinity start at Atlanta. I think that experience could really come into play and help him at this race. Unfortunately, the last Super Speedway race at Daytona, which was last week, by the way, he unfortunately had an engine failure and cost him a shot at an opportunity. But obviously, he's going to be running a lot of double duty. He's going to be running a Watkins Glen, and I think he will have the best car there. I think he's going to be a major threat and contender for the win, and we could see him get his second career NASCAR Cup Series win at Watkins Glen. He's going to be running at tracks like Las Vegas near the end of the year. If he shows progression at mile-and-a-half tracks like that, same with Martinsville as well, which is going to be very tough and very difficult to pass in those cars, I do think Shane could show a lot of that progression. And you look at the experience, the more laps he gets in these next-gen cars, I think he's going to end up getting better. And he's going to be competing against a lot of really tough Cup competition next year. Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace, who's expected to return to 23-11. Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez, you name it, Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, you name it, all these guys that probably will be competing for a championship. Denny Hamlin, who'll be back next year. He wants to do the best he can, and the more experience that Shane can get behind the wheel of the next-gen car, the better he's going to end up doing. I know 26 is not the most remarkable finish in the world, but the more experience that Shane ends up getting this year, the better that I think Shane will perform. Not a bad night for him. He survived a lot of carnage, survived some of the incidents, and there have been a lot of attrition like some of the other Cup races. I think he could have gotten the top 20 tonight, but nonetheless, 26 is not that bad, all things considered. He at least got a top 30, I do think, and again, it's cool that he did end up leading laps in the 2024 Southern 500. Not bad, all things considered. So, that is going to be it for reactions to Shane Van Gisbergen's performance at the Southern 500. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support my Patreon as well. Listeners will below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. How was your SVG's performance? Do you think he struggled tonight? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow morning on the channel, we'll have a NASCAR news video, discuss news over the course of the last couple of days, and all three of the big motorsports. We'll probably talking about Haley Deegan, Kurt Busch, Carl Edwards, all those guys this week. We're also going to have on Tuesday the playoff predictions for 2025. In 44, I should say, for the Cup Series. We're also going to have a news video on Wednesday and Xfinity race picks for Atlanta, and we'll have Cup race picks for Atlanta on Thursday. Got a lot of great content that I can't wait for you guys to check out here over the course of the next couple days. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.